and learning who they are, right? Like when you ask them questions about what they like to do, you'll find those things and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that interests me. How do you get into that? Like asking those sorts of questions of like just showing your interest to learn the skill instead of asking the person automatically right away to just, can you please take me out? Podcast 15. We're super excited today.
16.
We're handing that. Gosh,
At 16.
Podcast 16. I messed up that earlier. We're handing it to you on a silver platter. Podcast 16. We're super excited for it. What are we talking about? We're talking about using people.
Using them.
And using them well. We're going to talk about how it's good to use people.
Well, I'm going to ask you because you are the creator of this thought. I feel like this is a Trevor Call inspired thought, using people. An average person in this world, including myself, would say,
I'm average, so ask away.
Why is using people a good thing, Trevor Call?
Here's the thing. I feel like that phrase is a negative connotation.
Truly is.
It is. But in turn, it is good if you use it in the right ways. You don't want to just force people to do things for you or be like, hey, you have a boat, like take me out on the lake, you know, like you're not.
I want to be your friend. You have a boat. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you have money? Like be my boyfriend, please. Goodness. That's why we're both single. Using people is a phrase that I wanted to talk about because it's a thought that I had a few weeks back about all the cool people that we know and all the cool people that we've met and all the talents and all the knowledge that they have. Do you want to give us some examples?
Yeah, I can think of a few right off the top of my head. A coworker, Victoria, shout out to her. She's a cardiac nurse.
We love you, Victoria.
She's awesome.
We know you're listening out there.
She's a sweet, awesome human. And her husband, Michael, is also so awesome. Such a fun person to always hang out with at eating.
Oh, yeah.
Drinking, camping, all of it. He's the bomb.com. Anyways, they both are really big into rock climbing, and that is a talent that they have that they've shared with us, and we were able to share with a person for his first time ever rock climbing, Marquell, back in the day.
Wow, that was forever ago.
I know. I was journaling about that today. It was pretty fun going back.
Look at you, Mr. Journal, man.
I know. It's been really helping my thought process.
It's true. There's like so much that happened the past year or even two, just all of Utah that I haven't written down that I need to.
Totally.
Anyways, keep going.
Colin's another one.
Oh, yeah.
We met Colin at a random camping trip in Provo Canyon. He actually just messaged me today wanting to do a Flaming Gorge rafting trip overnight thing.
So excited.
Excited.
He was a river rafting guide in Montana.
Yeah, we may have even mentioned, probably talked about him before, but yeah, he's so badass.
Well, we gave him a Saunders Sunday shout out.
That's right, on
about
Instagram.
How awesome he is. I feel like he's one that this is so weird to say, that we haven't taken advantage of enough.
Truly.
Like he loves fishing, but we've never fished with him.
I know.
It's so lame. He brought his fishing pole up to a trip in Idaho, but it was for a very brief time because it was like raining the whole time.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
But Colin is a good example of not using people, like someone that's your friend that has so much knowledge about an activity or a sport or something, and you walk away from that friendship, or like you guys move away from each other and you didn't get to experience like something that they are passionate about, and then they could teach you and therefore you could teach other people. You know what I mean?
Right.
So realizing this, we've wanted to push ourselves to learn from people of like what they are good at. So I'm excited to go learn from Colin.
Me too. Seriously, just and all these other people. There's so many. We talked about Jose on 2 podcasts ago.
I think something like that, yeah.
Another one. He just knows. He knew Escalante and all these little hole in the wall places you can call them.
You're so dang clever.
Thanks, man. Who else? I don't know.
Well, truthfully, we should stop there because there's too many. Truly. And I don't want to leave anybody out because I feel like all of our friends are awesome for different reasons.
That's amen.
And I think as you listen to like the past, I don't even know, like 5 minutes of that spiel, you were probably thinking about some cool friends that you have or someone that is good at whatever. I don't know.
Even family members. Yeah. Just people that you've really gained some kind of cool experience or knowledge or new craft from just by being around them and spending time with them.
Right. I feel like there's a lot of people in our lives in everyone's lives that have cool talents, and it's because people are awesome. People are amazing. They're
awesome.
smart, you know? We just want to talk about not missing your opportunity to learn.
And along with taking advantage of people, as you said earlier, it's also important to know that you can be taken advantage of too. Like you can be
Definitely true.
a light or an example, or can bring some joy in a new way to other people's lives too. Recently, I had an idea to share a post and kind of just openly invite whoever wants to join out on some outdoor adventure trips. And that kind of just goes along with Saunders' sites of like what I've learned and loved from last year is that these people, and there's just so many people like we're already talking about. And I feel like that's a way as I'm okay at organizing or planning trips and kind of having a loosely planned trip so we can bounce around to whatever we want to do. And
Just like a piece of seaweed. You're just loose.
just, seaweed. Everybody, seaweed. It's important.
We like seaweed.
It's important
Just
in this
going with
life.
the flow. That's our code word.
Our mantra? I don't know what it's called.
It's our thing, I guess.
Seaweed.
We're just pieces of seaweed.
But
Anyways.
I think that that's something that I can bring to the table, and then people like Colin or people like Victoria and Michael can kind of tag along and make that trip something even more spectacular type of an idea. We all can bounce off of each other. Like it's like a community of sharing all your talents, and it creates just a kick-ass community.
You're right.
And times,
Yeah, we've talked about that of like coming prepared or like going into a trip with people and having ideas and things to do, or like bringing something fun for the group to do, just like being
bring
prepared.
stuff to the table.
Right. Instead of just being like, man, like this party is lame or this camping trip is lame. Like that's kind of on you. It's kind of your fault, like you should have been prepared no matter what, because you don't depend on people most of the time.
And then sometimes you have to depend on people, like when you get a flat tire or like just random bull crap that happens throughout trips or days.
And that's when you use them for their knowledge on fixing a tire.
Exactly right.
And that's why you bring Connor Green on your trip, because he's a mechanic.
It's true.
You're catching on. I'm just kidding. Okay, so with this, let me ask you a question.
Hit me.
I'm hitting you.
Give it to me.
Well,
Harder already.
I'm trying. When does using people become a bad thing? Like, what's that line that you shouldn't cross, like with a friend and their talent or skills or gear? You know what I mean?
Right. I feel like I look back in middle school peers, and I grew up not really having video games. My mom hated them, and so it was always a struggle trying to get them in the house. Eventually I did own video games, but I remember at the time like being super young, and I would use people in a bad way just to go over to their house and play their video games. The GameCube was so cool. I played Lego Star Wars all the time at this one kid's place. It's kind of that idea, I feel like, versus playing video games nowadays. It's just to hang out. Like we play golf with friends just to shoot the shit, talk about random stuff, give each other crap, and play this crazy mini golf game.
If any of you just want to play a game just for,
giggles.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say, except I was going to say shits and giggles. But
well, that's better.
Or kicks and giggles. What is the phrase?
Yeah, kicks and giggles like the G-rated version.
Oh, okay. Well, let's say kicks and giggles for mom. Wink. Okay. It's a great game. I'm not trying to advertise this. It's just
go buy it now.
Go buy it now.
Get it on Game Pass.
We get 10% commission from this, so please help us support the channel. Good God. Okay. It's just a funny, fun game that you don't have to put any effort into hardly, and it's very competitive in anyways.
So besides the point of video games, we kind of got off on a tangent of that, but like
minor tangent.
The idea is I'm spending time with you, like still hanging out, still giving you crap, like just enjoying time with you, versus then I was so focused on just the video game, just playing and experiencing the video game for myself. So I think that if you're going, for example, Colin, if we were to go river rafting with him, it's not totally just being thrilled with this whitewater or just whatever rafting trip, being distracted and taking pictures and videoing it all the time, rather than just hanging out and talking with him and just learning from him and experiencing river rafting with him. You know what I'm trying to say? Like embracing the environment more so than just being so focused on like a goal or whatever you're using them for. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think so. When you were talking about it, honestly, it made me just think like it's a case by case thing, because every person is so different and unique and whatever, and their own person. Like you just have to gauge that, because if they're very standoffish, you don't want to just be like, hey, like take me on a river trip.
Yeah, when are you taking me?
We
Like, let's go.
We need your raft. Like help us, please.
Yeah.
It's more so like you want to open that person up to the idea. Like you take them on a trip and you help them experience, you have a good time, and hope that they want to show you a good time as well. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like the idea, like I said, it's almost you go out and whatever you bring to the table is what those people now know or think of you or can trust of you or whatever it is. So if you go out there with no plan and the whole time you're mooching off of everybody, or you're not really planning, you're not really helping, then of course it's going to be a lot more feeling like a nagging at you to go on a trip, versus if you're the whole time planning stuff, talking about a plan, creating ideas of what to do, and kicking ass while you're doing it and having a fun time, of course.
I also just had this thought, is the more developed you are as a person, the more you bring to the table of just like knowledge and experience, and
totally
even sometimes just like camping gear or whatever, you attract other people who also have experience. And so it's just this like awesome group just brewing
and blending.
Oh yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
We've camped with so many different people, and you can just tell the different vibe between all of it, you know?
Right. Some younger people than us, some older people than us, people who don't drink, people who party, you know, all kinds of different experiences for sure.
Back to the thought of every case is different. It's an internal battle too. For instance, if you genuinely don't like someone, but they have all the gear for rock climbing or canyoneering, like it's just kind of a dick move to just invite them for that thing. I feel like a way to find that balance is genuinely asking them and learning who they are, right? Like when you ask them questions about what they like to do, you'll find those things and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that interests me. How do you get into that? Like asking those sorts of questions of like just showing your interest to learn the skill, instead of asking the person automatically right away to just, can you please take me out? Like, I mean, that's probably okay. Like I said, every person's different. Just show interest, you know?
When people at work show interest, if I talk about camping and then they start asking questions more in depth about where or what or how you camp, and then I start realizing that they like it, and then you can have more of a conversation, then I would totally invite them out to go camping, you know?
Right. They're like, oh, I've always wanted to go camping. Boom. Pierce is like, oh my gosh, please let me take you.
I'm like, let me please take you, let's go. And then maybe they're like, oh well, yeah, I don't really camp that much, but I like to rock climb. And I'm like, oh well, I know this cool spot, let's do this, and we can get you to a cool camping spot, you know? And then it creates, again, there's just like the connection of the two, and it works out for something good.
And I think that also encourages real conversation, because if you're just having small talk, then you won't get this sort of information out of people. And if you also don't share it, then people won't share with you, you know? Right. And so like just being willing to share really what's on your mind. It goes for business too. Like if I didn't tell anybody what I did throughout my day, I would lose clients, or I wouldn't get clients. There are some clients that come to me because it was just some random person at the restaurant, or like someone I was nice to, and we get talking and they ask what I'm doing for a living, and I say video, and they're like, no way, I totally need a video. And I'm like, well, shoot,
let me pay you some money.
Right. So it's just, you know, just being willing to share, be a real person, represent yourself well, not just poorly, just so bad. People represent themselves so bad these days.
Well, it's true. And I feel like I do too. I'm kind of known as like the team slacker at work. It's kind of funny. Yeah. Not by everybody.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is news to you.
This is funny because he comes home and he's like, I had a great day at work. I am so good at what I do. Turns out you're a slacker.
I am good, but yes, I do slack hard. I'm a hard worker and I'm a hard slacker. So everything
hard,
I do.
Slack hard.
Exactly right. So there's definitely times that I don't represent myself as well as I should or want to when I look back at it. Being human, you fall and you fail. I've also found a lot of light. I'm just really bad. I'm not very good at communicating. My family knows this. People who are close know this about me. I'm just not good at communicating. It's a hard thing for me to do.
Terrible even.
Just god awful. So it gets me in trouble, and in me being a bad communicator can lead to a bad impression, like you were saying. But that's, again, why you're saying it's important. I feel like sharing what you like can be vulnerable, but it's also exactly how you meet and make connections with awesome people and can create the awesome adventures that you can have.
For sure. I think that's why a lot of people who are shy either like don't have a lot of friends or might not do a lot of things because they don't express their interest to do some things. And so they lose out on some opportunities. So if you are shy, and I'm shy too, like I'm an introvert faux show. Like some people view me as an introvert, some people view me as an extrovert. Depends on the day, depends on who you are.
You should really just take some personality tests. So
Yeah, Pierce wants to do this personality thing, and I'm not doing it. No, I will.
It only hurts
sometime.
you.
Look, man. Okay, you're right. For the sake of this podcast and trying new things, I Trevor Call.
Will you, Trevor Call?
I commit.
Thank you. Under oath?
Yes. I put my hand on this microphone, and I commit to do that.
Thank you. Well, this is going to be a wonderful adventure for you.
I'm excited for
We'll
it.
do it right after this podcast.
Nope. Anywho, another thing that I wanted to talk about with this is it's so important to just be a person that is just so open to new things, open to teaching people, open to sharing their experiences, open to sharing their interests and their loves and their passions, just bring everybody in, Once you do that, I feel like it's so cool. You influence your family members, you influence your friends, and something I wrote down, it's like honoring those people and honoring like your ancestors or whoever was into this craft or trade or skill or sport. Goodness, how long is this list that I'm about to give? Anything.
Etc.
When you do those things that they taught you to do, it's like honoring them.
Right. I totally believe that 100%. There's no better way to honor somebody who's passed on. Some people get tattoo art for something to remember them by, and some people have the gravesite, and that's one way that they just remember. Some people go and have them cremated. There's a lot of different ways you can remember them, but I feel like a way to honor them truly, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
Is to live ways that they lived or to do things that they did, or it's not even exactly what they do. Like if it was my grandpa is a pigeon raiser shower,
and that's real,
like legendary. Like this dude breeds
like
beautiful pigeons and has won like these huge ass trophies. He's gone to like Africa for shows. Like he is a god at breeding pigeons. I don't know how, but he is.
This is so funny because you saying that is so random and it sounds so fake, but it's true.
So real.
It's so funny.
It's so real.
Oh my gosh.
And my grandpa is a legend. So for so many reasons, but
Pierce is following his footsteps.
I will breed all the pigeons that I see
in the world.
No, like obviously that's not something I'm ever gonna do. That is not something that interests me whatsoever. But there's other ways my grandpa that I can honor my grandpa by. One of the things he always says is that things are not bad. He never says things are really good unless they're really good. He never says things suck unless they really suck. So most of the time, everything is just not bad. It can be food, it can be a movie, it can be anything. How was that, Grandpa? Not bad. Not bad. And like that's just one way I feel like I honor my grandpa is I kind of carry that on. Unless something is extremely good or extremely bad, I try to just not be mad about it, Not bad,
Just seaweed a little bit more. Just seaweed.
Just a little more seaweed.
That's funny. Your grandpa, such a funny story. Anyways, whenever I go hunting, I think of my dad. So from my point of view now, like I'm assuming that in the future Trevor, when he passes away and I go hunting, I will feel like a connection, like with that person.
Totally.
With my dad. Whoever that person
dad
is.
That guy, yeah.
Whoever dad is. Because of that reason, I think it's such a cool idea. This is a potential idea for my death and potential cremation, but I think it'd be so awesome to give a list of locations to my children and my family and give them my remains. Not me giving them, but because I'm dead. But
you are the remains.
Maybe they'll just show up in the mail on their doorstep or something. If I die, send my cremation remains to my mom and keep some yourself. Anyways, whatever.
I will, Trevor.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. But I want to give a list of places that mean a lot to me, and so they go out and like live those experiences in those locations and think of me and like long live Trevor's name and everything he stood for and like just honoring him. I feel like it's just a cool way to encourage my family to experience what I experienced, like a little glimpse of my life.
Right. I love it.
And
all
then,
for it.
And then spread me all over it.
Just scatter you.
My ashes just everywhere. Respectfully, though.
Cannot see your mom doing that in any other way than respectful.
I don't know what my mom would think if I got cremated. I really don't.
Really?
Mom, what would you think? I don't know if she listens to this.
We'll find out.
Yeah, one day she'll just text me and be like, this is what I think of you being cremated. Thanks, Mom. Anywho.
Closing thoughts. I guess the challenge for this podcast, the challenge just for everyone, myself included, yourself, Trevor, is to try to reach out in some way, whether it's on social media or just to one person this week, and have an open conversation and kind of share things you like or you care about. It can be the weirdest things. It can be cereal. It can be like whatever. Just, share something.
And think of friends that are very talented that you want to learn from, whatever that is, and figure out a way to learn from them. Just like start asking them questions about whatever they do. So yeah, just start learning from people, teaching people yourself, and just be cool,
Yeah. And then honor somebody that you care about that's passed on or that's not living near you. They don't even have to be dead. They can just be away, and try to incorporate something of theirs in
try
your
to
life.
honor them. Try to honor them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I knew what you're trying to say. I was just too slow to help you.
It's okay. Well,
it happens.
I'm too slow to come up with the word, so we're both struggling.
That also happens too. So go out and do it. Exciting news also this week is
What's
on.
that?
Well,
What
let me
is
tell
it?
you. I don't know. Sunday, we are going to be launching our apparel. It's been a while coming, but this week will be a good week for us to grind out the rest of the stuff we need. And so we're just kind of putting a due date on ourselves. And so we wanted to give you a heads up. Of the apparel that's coming. Yes. So be on the lookout Sunday. Yeah, be a part of it. Saundersites.com. It'll be there.
Be there, be square. See ya.
Bye.